Here's a video to document my experience making a landscaping edging curb the way that it's shown in the video from our friends from Quikrete. There is a link to that video in the description. I've never done anything like this before, so this should be fun. Another reason I'm doing this is to replace some old rotten railroad ties. This whole thing is supposed to cost about $2 per linear foot. We'll see how that works out. I wanted a hard, pun intended, concrete surface to weed whack against when doing the lawn. And I also wanted to add some aesthetic value to the front of the house. I was fortunate enough to have some scraps of Lexan at work, and the 1/4-inch plywood would never turn that tight of a bend. And hopefully we'll be able to edge it out with this curved trowel. Laying the forms was relatively straightforward. I think one mistake I made was that they're probably too tall. I cut them to 6 inches, and that's probably too much, so we're going to fill the bottom with a little bit of dirt and tamp it down before we put in the gravel. The contractor online told me to spray the insides of the forms with silicone to make them easier to remove later. We'll see how that works out. The video from Quikrete did not specifically say what type of gravel to use. At the store there was 3/4 inch and 1/4 inch. I chose a 3/4 inch. Looking at the video again, it looks like they're actually using a 1/4 inch, more of a pea gravel. I hope that this 3/4 inch gravel will be okay. This 2.4 cubic foot cement mixer off of Amazon for 165 bucks. I've never used it before. We'll see how it goes. I think I might have made my forms a little bit too deep. One bag of 60-pound concrete brought us a little bit less than 3 feet, and this is with 2 inches of gravel at the bottom. This very first section here looks okay, but other sections do not. Sometimes there's a lot more rocks in here than I expected. It's too late now, but I vaguely remember seeing a video where someone said, use Quikrete only for things that you don't see. For example, a fence post. And for something you do see, you're supposed to use a mixture of, I think, maybe Portland cement and sand. It's too late now, but I'm just hoping that this doesn't come out as crappy as I think it will. Here's the yellow bag, 40-pound version. The video says you can use the orange bag or the yellow bag. The guy at the store said the orange bag sets very, very fast, 20 to 40 minutes, and I didn't feel comfortable doing that as a beginner. I don't know if the orange bag has less rocks in it though. I wouldn't use this stuff again. Okay, we finished up today's work in about 3 hours at not a back-breaking, but a brisk pace. Came out pretty well, except for the actual quality of the curb is all crummy, a bunch of rocks. Not what I was expecting, but I gotta live with it. So the forms came out relatively easily. The problem is that the top of it doesn't look very good. Maybe we didn't do a good job smoothing it out, or maybe it was the wrong cement, or both. Alright, job done. It is now 4 months later, and the grass has recovered approximately 95% from the surgery. I think it overall looks really good. Okay, let's go over a couple things. One thing I did wrong is that in some sections the curb is too low. I misjudged the mature height of the grass. I started this project in late winter. It's now 4 months later. And the whole idea was to have a curb high enough so that when you weed whack, the clippings wouldn't so easily go over into the bed. This here is showing the grass after it's been mowed, so again, the curb is a little bit too low in some sections. One thing I did right is the control joints. I stuck the putty knife about 1/3 of the way down, just like shown in the video. As the concrete cured, it's split at the control joints only. It's not split anywhere else. And by the way, when you walk on this curb, you could just feel that it's absolutely rock solid, and it's going to be here for as long as the house is here. Another thing I did right is that my property is not perfectly level, and I did a good job laying the forms to compensate for the lay of the land, and it looks really, really good. Alright, coming at you from my high-tech home studio. Let's go over what this thing cost me. My curb was about 5 inches wide and 5 inches deep. That's not including the 2 inches of gravel on the bottom. Material cost is $272. Tool cost, including the cement mixer, was $205. It worked out to $6.82 per foot for about 70 linear feet. That's an expensive way to travel, but of course now I own a cement mixer. Supposing for a moment that I already owned a cement mixer, or that I could have borrowed one and all the tools, the cost would have been $389 a foot for about 70 linear feet. So I started to ask, how do these guys from Quikrete get less than $2 a foot? Well, I suppose if the curb was like the one in the video, what looks to be maybe 3 by 4 or something like that, I'm just guessing, using half the bags of concrete, it would have turned out to be $2.82 a foot for about 70 linear feet. Now suppose for a moment that you weren't going to use that Quikrete Cure and Seal and that you would damp mist it with the hose. Now you can chop the price down to $2.24 per foot. And now we're within spitting distance of what our friends from Quikrete said. Overall, I'm really happy with the way that the curb came out, and I would definitely do it again. Now, maybe it was my fault, but I definitely wouldn't use that Quikrete stuff in the yellow bag. Alright guys, well, I'm not what you call a pro YouTube star. I don't make any money doing this. I don't got a Patreon page or anything like that. But thousands of people have helped me on YouTube, and I wanted to make a video to give back. I hope this helps you. See ya.